In their last 8 games, the Royals have won 6, led by the pitching, allowing just 8 earned runs in those last 8 games. That stretch includes Bruce Chen, who allowed just 1 run in his last start. He pitches Game 2 with Seattle next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you on a perfect night at Kauffman Stadium as the Royals play Game 2 with the Mariners after a 3-1 victory yesterday afternoon. And now the Royals have won 7 of their last 9, and they picked up a game in the wild card race, gaining 1 on the Tampa Bay Rays. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And this past offseason, there was no question the Royals improved their pitching. Now, how much they improved their pitching, that was a legitimate question. And here we are now in the final month of the season, and the Royals lead the American League in earned run average. And it's not even close. 3.43 ERA. The next closest team has a 3.61 ERA. So the Royals lead the American League. They were 12th last year, remember. They lead the American League right now by 18 points. Let's welcome in Rex Hudler, and the rotation was the focal point. And the rotation, I think, overperformed for the most part in the first half. That did not include Bruce Chen, who's been a bright spot in the second half.
You're right, Ryan, and the production has not stopped. But in this month of September, we just saw the numbers. They're in a pennant race. You're counting on your veteran pitchers, especially your veteran hitters as well. But Bruce Chen getting the call tonight in a day-to-day game where you have to focus day-to-day, keep the ball on the corners. Bruce knows how to do this. Keep it down. Even though he's been roughed up his last few starts, he needs to take that mound with the K with confidence. Set the tempo here for the second game of this long 4-game series and use that defense. That's beautiful pitch for Bruce. He's going to get a lot of guys to pop up because he keeps them off balance. But a young offense that's never seen him before, get it to Holland. Call the cops. This has been unbelievable performance, 30 for 30. Just get it to him.
I really can't think of that. Enjoy the game.
Carlos Pena in uniform, veteran first baseman, was batting just .209 with 8 homers for Houston this year, does have 285 career home runs, and now officially a Kansas City Royal. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg here. More Royals September call-ups, and interesting because Billy Butler will play first today. Eric Hosmer will just get a little bit of a break, at least half a day's break, by DHing, and there's a chance you could see Carlos Pena, known for good defense, coming in as a defensive replacement for Butler later in this game. Other call-ups for the Royals, well, they actually end up with 6 of them overall, including Pedro Siriaco, who will wear number 37, can play all over the infield. Pena will wear number 23, and then as expected, Wade Davis, Lewis Coleman brought back, Johnny Giavotella called up, Donnie Joseph helps out in the bullpen as a left-hander to make room for Pena and Siriaco, who were not on the 40-man. The Royals send Noel Arguelles to the 60-man DL and designate for assignment infielder Edison Rivera from Northwest Arkansas. We do know this, the Royals can bring the defense every single game, and they'll try to do that when we come back.
Royals Baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Play Cadillac Rich's Scratchers game, and you could win a new Cadillac. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealer, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And I think the picture tells the story. We had a gorgeous day yesterday and maybe even a better day today. Tonight's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. Eric Wedge, and if you were with us yesterday, we were telling you how glad the Mariners are, how glad we all are to see him back in uniform after suffering a minor stroke in the middle of July, which kept him away from the team for a long time. They are on a 8-game road trip. They are 3-2 so far. They took 3 out of 4 from the Astros and then lost yesterday to the Royals 3-1. And here's his lineup today against left-hander Bruce Chen.
All right, a lot of young guys in this lineup here. Now forget about Ibanez. He's a veteran guy, but Ibanez is only 2 for 12 off of him. Some of these young guys are in for a real education facing Bruce. If Bruce can be Bruce and throw the plethora of pitches he has, the different arm angles, and use that defense, he's going to really make some guys look bad on their swings. Now we hope that's the case because Bruce needs to set the tone for his team.
And Brad Miller swings at the first pitch. Gerard Dyson glides into left center field, one away.
Defensively behind him, wow, Bruce and any Royals pitcher that toes the slab needs to be thrilled with the defensive work behind him. Now look over there, Billy Butler. Go ahead, Billy. No errors in 6 starts, but the fact that Billy has lost 12 pounds over the last month has made him even more agile and caught the eye of Ned Yost, and he's playing. Give Hosmer a little rest, half a day anyway.
Strike to Franklin Gutierrez, who did not play yesterday. And with Carlos Pena being called up, Ned Yost, if he needs it, has a late inning defensive replacement without having to lose his DH by moving Hosmer over there. He can just bring Pena off the bench.
I tell you, the pieces are coming into place for Ned. Now with the September call-ups here, he's got the reinforcements he needs to make a strong Kansas City Royals team even stronger. Especially now having four left-handers in his bullpen. That's got to feel pretty good right now with the momentum that his team's gaining here and the confidence day by day. But remember, it's day by day at this particular time.
Moustakas to his knees and throws out Gutierrez, 2 down.
Going to see Bruce pop up a lot of guys. He's kind of mainly a fly ball pitcher, but whenever it's on the ground, there is range to be found. Bruce says, thank you for picking me up, Moose.
So 2 quick outs, and now Kyle Seager, who had a big game yesterday. Seattle had just 1 run, 7 hits. Seager had 3 of those hits. 281 hitter. And in talking to some of the people connected closely to the Mariners, they really feel like that he will not only be a 300 hitter in the big leagues, that he has a shot of possibly winning a batting title.
Ooh, man. Some high praise. Sure like the way he played yesterday, especially coming in, making that barehanded play from third base.
And another base hit. David Lowe will cut it off and hold Seager to a 2-out single.
Makes Seager 3 for 6 with 1 homer off of Bruce. And so Bruce, you know, after giving up a combined 13 runs over 9 innings in losses to Detroit and Washington, he regrouped Thursday and went really well against Minnesota. 3-1. However, what he said was he wasn't aggressive during those times when he was off. He was trying to be a finesse pitcher. He said, I've got to be more aggressive down in the strike zone if I'm going to have success and I'm going to help my team. I can't go up there nibbling. Although you would think a finesse lefty like him makes a living on nibbling, he said that hurt me.
Sometimes that can go too far.
Exactly. He got behind some guys.
Even a finesse pitcher needs to be aggressive at times.
Exactly.
And Bruce was that in the first inning. 10 pitches, even with the hit, and the Mariners are scoreless. streak, and they have bounced back yet again. They have done it time and time again this year. Ned Yost's team has won 7 of 9, 4.5 back in the wild card, and here's how the Royals are lined up against a pitcher they've never seen before, Erasmo Ramirez.
Well, Alex Gordon, he could definitely drive the bus. He's very dangerous right now. Hosmer, as a designated hitter, man, you never know what's going to happen. What's he going to do in between at-bats? That'll be the big question of the day. However, what he does when he gets in that batter's box is going to be the utmost importance against this guy, Erasmo Ramirez. He's a young pitcher. Only 5'11", 205, so a lot of power in his game. 89 to 95, fastball, 2 and 4 seam, curve, and a change. Comes right at you. Very aggressive pitcher. That bodes well for an aggressive offense like the Royals have. Now, we showed you our first baseman, Billy Butler. We got to show you theirs. This kid Smoke, he's a really fine player. Good hands at first base. Been a little bit shy with the bat lately, but they like his potential. Really good with the glove.
Mentioned Alex has been dangerous lately. He did not get a hit yesterday. That put an end to an 8-game hitting streak. He did reach with a walk. He jumps on the first pitch. Gutierrez is back. 1-0 Royals.
Aggressive pitcher, aggressive team. Alex Gordon, first pitch of the game, 1-0. All aboard. Okay, right before he's getting ready to head up to the plate, he ripped his batting glove. He had to go back in. He says, wait a minute, I'm ready to hit. My batting glove just ripped. What a great sign. Oh, and then he steps in and doesn't waste any time at all. 12th career leadoff home run. Yep. Beautiful thing, swung on, gone. There you go, Bruce. There's your lead.
That is a team record, by the way. 12 career leadoff home runs. 1 and 2 on Chris Getz, who bats second tonight, and now he bounces that over the mound. And Brendan Ryan, very good defensive shortstop, will throw him out. And Erasmo Ramirez has his first out. The Royals had gone 5 games without giving up a home run. You're a big body language guy, Hud, and he's still shaking his head at allowing the home run to Alex. That was 2 batters ago. So even though he just got an out, he's still upset about the home run.
He's in trouble if he doesn't learn how to turn the page in this game. Because, man, those things have a tendency to compound and get worse as it goes along if you can't control your emotions. You got to be able to do that. But he's aggressive. He comes right at guys. He's been pretty good. His numbers aren't too shabby. 32 and a third innings, 30 hits, 6 walks, 28 strikeouts. So he's pretty good for a young pitcher that's a power pitcher. Got pretty good control. I think it bodes well for the Royals.
2-1 on Hosmer. He's hit in 6 in a row. 1 for 4 with a run scored yesterday. He has 157 hits. Just outside, and now he's ahead in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike. Three and 2. The most impressive thing I think Hosmer did yesterday was on a play where he went first to third after he reached in the 4th inning, and then a base hit from Billy Butler. And that really put some energy into the game. Instead of first and second, first and third, and Hosmer turned that into a run. And now he's on with a 1-out single.
You're exactly right, Ryan. You're aggressive in your base running like the Royals have been, and you go first and third and you test outfielders. They're going to overthrow a cutoff man. You're going to score a run. Look at that. Nice stroke behind. Waited till the ball got deep. That sets the tone, that good base running, that good aggressiveness. Look at how long his strides are. I watched his batting practice today, Ryan. I've never, ever seen a guy with that long a stride between their legs. Like Dave Winfield, he was 6'8", and he didn't have a stride that long. Hosmer, I mean, look at the depth there he's got. That's unbelievable. I mean, that's a whole box he's covered. One side, the other side. Crazy. And you know, Ryan, he hits some of the hardest balls that we've seen all year, and we have proof this year. Look at the hit speed. 104.6 miles an hour off of his bat. He don't get cheated. Squares it up. Impressive, really, what we're seeing from him.
0-2 on Billy, who was 1 for 4 yesterday. And he will strike out. A 3-pitch strikeout for Ramirez. And 2 down. You know, in watching Hosmer swing, and hitting coaches will use different lingo to describe a guy who hits the ball hard. And one thing that guys will bring up, his bat stays in the zone for a long time. And Hosmer's does just that. I mean, he stays on that plane through the ball, hits through the ball, as hitting coaches will say.
Couldn't explain it better. You're right on, partner. And it's level. It's the bat head. The bat head doesn't drop. It doesn't stay on top too much. It's level and makes him dangerous to all fields.
2-0 on Moustakas, who drove in one of the 3 runs yesterday. He was 1 for 3. Alex Gordon on the first pitch for Ramirez. Homer to right. And now Hosmer at first with 2 down. And now 3-0.
Brian, you've heard me talk about the pleasure and the honor it really is to bat first for a team for a lot of different reasons. Gordon takes pride no matter where he is in that lineup. But one time in my career, I hit a first pitch home run. Nothing better than running around the bases after one pitch saying 1-0.
Off the end of the bat into right field, and Gutierrez will make the play, and that's the inning. So it didn't take very long. 1 pitch, 1 run, and the Royals had the lead at the end of an inning.
Nothing better except a win.
And remember, tomorrow is another Gordo Nation. Cheer on Alex in his special fan section. A $30 ticket includes a limited edition Gordo Nation t-shirt and a seat in the field box or plaza sections in left field. Tomorrow night, 7:10 against the Mariners.
Oh, yeah. You know, and he loves that. just like the rest of his teammates. Feed off of the crowd here at the K. Come make Alex feel so good tomorrow. And the kind of work that Alex Gordon puts out there, he would do well any job with a hard hat and a lunch pail. Think he would have a hard time finding a job somewhere? No.
1-2 on Justin Smoke.
I answered my own question. Because, you know, when you have...
Sometimes you don't need me up here, do you?
No, I do need you. But when it comes to talking about athletes that give all they've got, never gets tired.
Off the knuckles, and it'll drop in front of Dyson. So Bruce made a good pitch, but Smoke was able to muscle it out into center field for a leadoff single. Bruce has done very well against the Mariners in his career, and he has a couple of memorable games against them. Bruce has one career save in his long career, and that was against Seattle in 2010. And he also picked up his first win as a Royal against the Mariners. And that was important because it was his first win in 4 seasons after coming back from Tommy John surgery. 0-2 facing Mike Zunino.
You know, Ryan, another thing that's nice for Bruce is that he doesn't have to worry about the Mariners' running game. He's got really good moves, and you know, he's got a great catcher as far as catch and throw guys in Salvador Perez. So that's a big help for him.
Tough play for Getz, and Billy unable to pull it out of the dirt, and that's going to cost the Royals as Smoke will go first to third. It is a base hit for Zunino, and then Smoke goes second to third on an error charged to Getz.
Tough error, very tough. Ball was hit a squibber. Getsy's playing him to pull, so he was up near second base. Did all he could, and Billy, not accustomed to playing a lot of first base, couldn't dig it. But with the momentum that Getz had going far to his left, sometimes that'll pull that ball up the line. Your release point has to be just perfect.
And now former Royal Endy Chavez, and Bruce with a slider for strike one. Endy Chavez, 35 years old. Some of you will remember when he played with the Royals 12 years ago. Came over from the Mets in the Rule 5 draft. He's had a nice long career.
Consistent player. Good defense. Quick, takes good roots to balls that are hit.
Been to the postseason 3 times in his career, including the World Series in 2011. When he was here, he was skinny. He was about 160 pounds. And at times, you couldn't tell if he was holding the bat or the bat was holding him. But he's filled out, listed at 175. Popped up. Just what the Royals needed with runners at first and third, nobody out. Getz makes the play. And now Bruce will be hoping for a ground ball double play.
Talked about the way Bruce pops guys up a lot because he gets them off balance. It's a good example. Because sometimes when your weight gets out in front as a hitter, and your weight's already forward, your hands are back, and then you just throw the hands, you're guessing. You pop it up.
Now, if this were a fantasy baseball game, I'd put my money on a ground ball double play. You got a pitcher with great precision, changing speeds, and an aggressive young hitter at the plate. Strike to Abraham Almonte, 1 for 4 with a double and a run scored yesterday.
It's a good call, but in his career, Ryan, he's never been doubled up. He only has 13 ABs. But why not be the first one right here? Got to keep it down where Salvi's glove is.
Well, not quite a double play, but the Royals get the second out.
Oh, well, that's the way to get the out here. Almost doubled off the first base runner, Zunino.
So now it's Brendan Ryan, who has been losing playing time at shortstop to Brad Miller. Miller's at second base tonight. Brendan Ryan hitting 194. That's what he hit last year, and there's a pop-up. First and third, nobody out, no runs. So Bruce Chen picks up the defense. 2 pop-ups and a line out, and the Mariners are scoreless. Key to the Royals' 28-17 second half run. Starting pitching, it's been there all year. Same with the bullpen. Defense, speed. What do you think? Or
Well,
all of the above?
If you show me it again, I'll give you my true feeling. Okay, that's my true feeling, but you can't do that. We've got to pick one. I'm going to go, Ryan, because I love the speed game. I'm going with speed. Speed kills. Speed causes mistakes. When you don't have home run power, speed generates runs. And the Royals lead the majors with 128 bags. That's 10 more than any other team, and that happens to be in the National League, the Milwaukee Brewers.
And 41 in their last 23 games.
So the question was second half. So I'm saying second half and their nice run, speed has been a big reason, although those others are all playing hand in hand. But the Bonifacio finally getting an off day.
Crack bat and a base hit for Salvador Perez.
Yep. Whenever you swing at a pitch like that and you know you broke your bat, that bat's dying a hero. Because you're strong enough, like Salvi is, it's elevated to get it over the shortstop's head. But you also know you broke your bat.
Oh, David Lowe, who was 1 for 3 yesterday, fouls it off the plate. David Lowe yesterday almost made one of the greatest catches I have ever seen. Diving and airborne at the same time. I asked him during batting practice today, and he said it nicked his glove. He could feel it go off the tip of his glove. And he said what I suspected. If he had caught that ball, that yes, that would have been the best catch of his life. I was telling him, boy, you know you're good when it's a good-looking play and you don't make the play. And once the action stopped, the fans, 20,000 here yesterday, give him a big round of applause for his effort.
You got that right. It was special. I had to go in the locker room and tell him that. Of course, he knows it, but you know, he's a very humble guy. He's young. He's a rookie. But I told him I was impressed with the roll. And he said the roll comes from my football days. After making a dive and catch, I knew how to roll. And he was airborne for a long time. But you love the effort.
Down on strikes, 94 miles an hour from Ramirez. That is his second strikeout. Yeah, if he'd have made the catch, then I would have wanted to see if he would have kept his feet in bounds.
Exactly.
Gerard Dyson scored a run yesterday, 1 for 2. Thinking about dropping down a bunt and takes a strike.
He might want to try first base. Now, I watch the second baseman whenever a guy bunts like Dyson. Second baseman, he was coming straight in here. That's good. If you make the first baseman come in, you can walk into first base.
Oh, 0-2.
Now, the best way to defend a bunter with his type of speed is for the second baseman to go to first and have the first baseman come off and field it. Second baseman come here. First baseman.
He has to play in, though, doesn't he?
He does.
Second baseman.
You got to cheat. You got to cheat with speed like that. You can't play him straight up, and he's cheating some. Even with 2 strikes.
Zunino.
You know, infielders, you really got to know everything. The outs, the speed of the runner, the pitcher, what's coming. I mean, you don't have time to hardly think at all outside of your business there on the field. You got to always be ready and sharp and thinking about what you're going to do a pitch or two ahead.
2-2.
Know what you're going to do when the ball comes to you, and know what you're going to do when the ball's hit to one of your players in the infield. There's a lot to remember, especially middle infielders, second base shortstops. I never heard a fan yell at me ever in the infield. When I went to the outfield, I heard everyone. It's because it's a
You're
difference.
thinking so much on the
Yeah,
infield.
there's a difference of focus. Outfield, you don't have to be that focused as far as thinking. So you don't have time to listen. But in the outfield, I heard everybody. And that was not pretty at times.
Dyson comes back from 0-2 and takes a walk.
Oh, now look, Gordon, I'm sure he's looking right there. He's got a chance to acknowledge that fan right there with some kind of, hey, tap the heart, love you, see you, thanks, raise the roof, a little something, and I'm sure he did that. He probably winked at him and waved. And Gordon's a very humble guy. But those young people right there, they love him. It's great to acknowledge the fans.
So 2 on for Alcides Escobar, who has hit in 7 straight. One of the big plays yesterday was a run and hit play, not a hit and run. And Ned talked about that after the game. That for clarification, there's a big difference between the two. But Escobar saw it as a hit and run opportunity and took full advantage of that hole on the right side, and it was executed beautifully by the Royals. Ned had a great line too. Ned said, you know, you don't really have to put the hit and run on for Escobar, because when somebody's running and he's up there, he's going to swing.
He's an action player. But the difference between a hit and run and a run and hit is the first base guy is looking to steal the base. He doesn't peek in.
On a run and hit.
Right, on a run and hit. On a hit and run, you can't get picked off. So you're going to get a later break. And then you're going to take off and look back and see where the hitter hits it.
And on a run and hit, the hitter has the option of swinging the bat.
Doesn't have to.
Whereas a hit and run, he has to swing the bat. Line to right. And for a moment, it looked like Gutierrez was fighting the lights. But he's able to find it and get Escobar 2 down.
It's an action game, but when you have runners, you have a way to generate offense, and you put pressure on defenses. Seattle, they have home run power. That's it. They don't have any base runners. They go station to station. So really, when your home runs run out, because good pitching will take care of that, you're in trouble if you don't find any other way to score runs.
Alex, funny, didn't get a first pitch fastball this time around. He did to begin the bottom of the first inning, and he was ready for it, even though he had never faced Ramirez before and homered into the right field bullpen. 1-1. Erasmo Ramirez out of Nicaragua. Grew up admiring a couple of fellow Nicaraguans. Dennis Martinez, probably the most famous, and Vicente Padilla. Left center field, slicing, but slicing into Chavez, and he makes the play. So the Royals get a hit and a walk. No runs. They lead 1-0. Today is Inc. Student Night and Local Music Showcase. Just show your valid student ID at the box office and you'll get a $7 ticket. Make sure to get here early for drink specials and live local music in the outfield experience before the game. Tomorrow night against the Mariners, we are featuring the band Cowboy Indian Bear. I believe they played here last year. Back by popular demand.
Good.
Royals.com/student night for tickets. Emilio Bonifacio has taken over at second base for Chris Getz.
Maybe Chris Getz hurt himself on that ball that he had to range too far to his left. I don't know. We'll get a report.
And looking at his night, he is grounded to short. That was in the bottom of the first, and then the play that Hud was talking about. Committed a throwing error in the second and then handled a pop-up and a line-out. As Miller was reaching, Bonifacio tested right away. That's the way the game goes. And throws out Miller, one away.
When you get off balance, I explained it, you either pop it up or you hit a little ball like this. Bonifacio thought he had the night off. You never know. When you're a role player, you got to be ready. It can happen anytime, especially him. Any outfielder could go down, or infielder, and he'll have to perk up and listen for his name.
Strike two. Gutierrez out on a good play by Moustakas at third in the first inning. One and one. Franklin Gutierrez, boy, the last 3 years for him have been a nightmare. One injury after another. This is just his 24th game this year. That ball might come back, and it does not. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gutierrez last year played in 40 games, and the year before that 92 games. This year it's been a right hamstring that has put him on the disabled list more than once. Still 1 and 2. Gold Glove outfielder. Won a Gold Glove in 2010.
Hamstring's the worst when you're a center fielder. Outfielder. Really got to use your legs to make your living. You hardly ever recover from them, especially if it's in the season. Unless you take a month off and then totally heal it, it'll nag you the rest of the year.
And that's somewhat of a baseball unique injury. You don't hear about many hamstring injuries in basketball or hockey or football because there's a lot more constant movement. But for outfielders in particular, like you said, all that standing around. You can stand around for 3-4 innings, not make a play, and then all of a sudden the ball's hitting the gap, and you go from no movement for an hour or very little movement into a full sprint. Great changeup. And Bruce has his first strikeout, 2 down in the third.
Baseball, when you train to play it, you train high twitch muscles. It's a fast twitch game, fast twitch. Everything's quick. Everything's, the swing is quick, the throw is quick. Here's a circle change. Even a circle changeup is the same arm speed as a fastball, but look at, there's twisting and turning. So your core, which is your abs and your lower back and your muscles in your back and your core, are extremely important in baseball, and your legs. Hamstrings, legs, buttocks, all those need to be trained the proper way. You train for speed, quickness. You don't train for endurance because it's not an endurance game. So guys that train their muscles for a fast twitch are a lot better off.
I think we need to get a camera up here in the booth because fans were getting the audio there, but they didn't get the benefit I did of the physical demonstration of the fast twitch muscles.
But it's not that big a deal. But look,
making my muscles fast twitch just watching you.
It is when it's all about baseball. You have to train yourself properly, especially at this level. If you're going to try to excel here, you better train yourself for 3 or 4 months in the off season. Take your little chill pill for a few weeks after the season. Let your body cool down. But you got to get on it, man. And one of the most important things that young players haven't found yet is their food that they eat, that they put in their body, their diets. And once you understand that you put in high fuel into your high octane system, you're going to get better performance. Same way as a car. Look at Bruce. He's a Ferrari. Way to go. Speed him up. Slow him down. Put him away. Nice.
This is Laura Eichmann, a psychologist specializing in the treatment of eating disorders. Laura started Rebel, a student-driven education and prevention program that addresses eating and body image concerns. Educated on topics such as diets and media literacy, the members of Rebel talk about issues, strive to improve their own self-esteem, and eventually become leaders to help their peers. Sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game. So Bonifacio in there for Chris Getz. Flies out to center field against Erasmo Ramirez, who gave up a home run on his first pitch tonight to Alex Gordon. 1-0 Royals in the bottom of the third.
And it still stood up. I really, honestly, I thought that they were going to get to him early and often. But they haven't been able to get anything since.
And we heard in between innings that the reason for Chris Getz's departure, upset stomach and dizziness. Strike to Hosmer. Eric went the other way and singled to left in the first inning, so he's hit in 7 straight. 158 hits, which puts him in the top 10 in the league. I remember Eric's rookie year 2 years ago. There was a game right around the All-Star break, I want to say, and he tried to steal third late in the game with 2 outs. He was thrown out. It may have even ended the game. And the feeling at the time was, well, was that the right move? I don't know. But then we started to think, how many first basemen try to steal third because they're aware of how important their run is and even think to steal third? That was when the Royals had long leashes on the base paths, and Hosmer took full advantage of that. He loves to run the bases, and I was talking to him today about that first to third play yesterday, and he said that comes from his father. He played for his dad in Little League, and his dad was big on running the bases aggressively. And as Eric walks with 1 out, said his dad, one of his biggest pet peeves as a Little League coach was kids that could hit and they could pitch, but they didn't take their base running seriously. So that goes back to his Little League days, running aggressively, and there aren't many first basemen in the game that run the bases like he does.
No, there aren't. But I tell you, that just adds to his stardom.
Remember, Doug Sisson was the first base and outfield coach, and going back to that game his rookie year, and again it was a big out, but everyone was impressed. The fact that he was even thinking about that, the Royals loved it. He said that's good. They want, at that stage of his career, to be out on the bases, not thinking about, well, I'm a hitter, I got on base, my job is done. Now what are you going to do? How are you going to score? And Eric can be very creative on the base paths. He has that walking lead where he'll con the pitcher into thinking he's not going anywhere, and then there he goes.
It's going to get even better too as he learns a little bit more about being on base. See how casual he looks, you know, and pitchers are going to forget about him. And, you know, early they will. I mean, they won't see him as a legitimate threat.
Should be an easy double play, and it is for the Mariners. 4-6-3. Philly is 0 for 2. The Royals send 3 to the plate in the third inning. 1-0 Royals. scoreless innings. He has set down the last 6 Mariners. And he'll face former Royal Raul Ibanez. He's having a big year. Raul, at 41 years old, has 25 home runs. And he is moving in on a record you don't hear much about, but that would be home runs hit by somebody that age. Ted Williams hit 29 home runs when he was 41 years old, and Raul is at 25. There you go.
Pretty impressive people to be in company with there.
Oh, and 2. Raul fly to center in the first inning.
Pretty impressive. But since the All-Star break, though, he's kind of fallen off. He's got just 1 homer.
This is the 3rd time he's been with the Mariners. And while he was with the Royals, he was here for 3 years, 2001, 2002, 2003. And over the last 15 years, there are very few people who were as admired and liked as a player as much as Raul Ibanez. As Mike Moustakas going for it all, missed it by about an inch. Kerwin Danley was there to pull him back in if he needed to. Still 1-2 on Ibanez.
Yeah, Moose did all he could and stretched as far as he could. Kerwin Danley said, hey, look, you know what? I know you're a player, but look, I'm a human being. I want to keep you from falling on your neck.
There's Chris Felicities, Royals team photographer, getting right into that. Although, Chris, come on. I mean, that would have been a great shot. Just pulling the camera away.
He got caught in the action.
And now a hanging breaking ball, and Ibanez hits it into right center field to lead off the 4th inning.
All right, our AT&T rewind. We'll show you how Bruce has kept guys off balance. Okay, a jam shot there. Okay, there's one there. That was kind of a jam. He was off balance. Couldn't make the play on him. Look at that one. Pop it up. A little off balance there, but this one even better. Pop up. Watch that one. Yeah, off balance. That's all you have are your arms when you're off balance. Good outs.
Now strike on Justin Smoke. In the beginning of those highlights, the Mariners had runners at 1st and 3rd and nobody out in the 2nd inning. And then Bruce got the pop up, the line out, and another pop up to get out of it. Smoke had the bloop single to get that inning started. 0-2 on Justin Smoke. From this side of the plate, he is hitting 161. Other side of the plate, 286.
Got to work on that right-handed stroke.
Either that, or do you get to a point where you ask yourself, is it worth it to hit from both sides of the plate?
I've seen other switch hitters go on the left side, stay there. JT Snow did that with the Angels, and he was young too. A hard time swinging right-handed. And that was his natural side.
Right-handed was?
Right. That's unusual. But see, you hit so much left-handed because there's so many right-handers that you get in your groove, and then when you go to the right side, you feel awkward.
Still 2-2. That foul ball spooked some fans behind home plate.
So that's a great seat when you're in that front row, right behind the screen. You can see the break on the ball, and you can see him fouled right back to you.
Back our way. You got to play, HUD. Reach out of the booth. Just above us. What a great night. 83 degrees at first pitch. Wind blowing out of the north, northeast. Just gorgeous. Spotless blue sky. We have really been blessed with great weather this summer. Moustakas will play it to first and takes care of Justin Smoke as Ibanez moves up to second base.
It's the only play he had. Two hopper, slow hit, take the out first.
And now Mike Zunino reached on an infield single in the second inning. Oh and 1. Zunino was drafted just last year out of the University of Florida, drafted in the first round. He is the long-term solution behind the plate. Missed some time in July and most of August with a broken hamate bone, a small bone in the hand, which often breaks on a swing.
And typically, it's your bottom hand because it's on the knob. And sometimes when you swing and it rotates, that little hamate bone sticks out. It's a hook bone, and you break it.
Speaking of hook to Escobar. Zunino is out. Ibanez stays put at second base, 2 down. Tomorrow night, another 7:10 game with the Mariners, and then an afternoon game on Thursday afternoon. And that's our next all-you-can-eat day at the ballpark. All the hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, pretzels, and Pepsi products you can handle for just $40. So come hungry if you're going to come out on Thursday afternoon. You can get your tickets at Royals.com/all-you-can-eat. Andy Chavez, good breaking ball. Chavez popped out to second in the second inning. That was the first big out for Bruce Chen as he got out of a first and third, nobody out. Andy Chavez, we were talking about his days with the Royals when he batted in the second inning. He was actually with the Royals this year in spring training as a non-roster invitee and went back to Seattle. Second time he has been with them. He was with the Mariners back in 2009. 2-1.
You know, there's an attraction to teams, or from teams, to guys like him that are veterans. He's in his 10th year. Takes good care of himself. He's in good shape. Hits from the left side. Can play any outfield spot for you, but he can lead. Ibanez, still productive, but he can lead. When you have a young team, it's good to have some guys like that that can help police.
Bonifacio to the grass and throws him out. So another scoreless inning for Bruce Chen as he gets around the leadoff single. Royals lead 1-0.
Nice.
young man who has his Alex Gordon for Batman sign. And he's got his face painted like Batman, and that's what Alex was on the first pitch from Erasmo Ramirez in the bottom of the first inning. Alex homered, and that's the only run tonight. Mike Moustakas leads off. He takes a slider inside.
That lady's got those antlers on. She's looking for something off of Moose's bat with a big stroke. Maybe he can go deep. He likes to pitch middle in. He's looking for something elevated.
Flied out to right field in the first inning. And now popped up to the left side. And Seager brings it down for the out. Well, speaking of those young fans, remember you can sign your kids up for Sluggers Blue Crew. They can come out to the ballpark decked out. It's been reduced to $15 for an end of the year sale, and what a great deal it is. We'll give you some of the details here. For $15, a gray batting practice jersey, a Royals hat, blue wristbands, priority access for the Sunday fun run, and even more than that. Brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. And parents, you can sign your kids up right now at Royals.com/Blue Crew. 2-0 on Sal. He singled to left in the second inning. He hit .398 against the Mariners last year, so they have been pitching him carefully in this series. Very odd that the Royals wouldn't see a team until September the 2nd. Drilled to left field. It is gone. Salvador Perez hits his 10th home run of the year.
Salvi put a line shot over the left field wall with some topspin on it. Man, he got that ball good. Luis Mendoza picked it up and threw it to a really happy fan. Over that Royals bullpen, great stroke. You throw it hard, I'll hit it hard. Inner half of the plate, short to the ball. That's where you get the speed, bat speed.
And now David Lowe bunts. Didn't bunt it very hard, so Zunino is able to throw him out. David is 0 for 2. So Sal Perez, one home run away from his career high. He hit 11 last year.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's just elevated right where he's looking. Not a long swing. If he had a long swing, he would have broke his bat. Took his hands right to it. Cover up in that bullpen in there. You don't want to hit any of those relievers. Good as they've been.
He really doesn't have a big man swing, does he? I mean, very much under control, very compact.
Handsy. He uses his hands really well.
Very good with runners in scoring position.
I compared him earlier in the season. This is his first full year. To Tony Perez, Big Red Machine, Hall of Famer. Now, because Perez was smart, but he was a bat ball hitter too, but he really used his hands. Salvi's a good handsy hitter.
And he's strong enough to hit for power by just using his hands. I mean, with his strength and his size, I mean, he doesn't really have to try and muscle up.
Nope. Sure doesn't. Look at him. When I say hands, that's what he's doing. He's taking his hands right to the ball. See how short and quick that is? Look at the balance there. The balance is really nice. But he's taking his hands, making some contact out in front of the plate on a pitch that you pull. That's the one. That's a perfect pitch for a home run there.
Dyson walked in the second inning, coming back from an 0-2 count. Still 3-2. Royals had gone 5 games without hitting a home run, and now they have 2 tonight. Alex Gordon on the first pitch thrown by Ramirez, and now Perez in the fourth. Lined into center field, base hit for Dyson, so he's on for a second time.
Okay, nice stroke. The one thing that the Ramirez is going to have to do, freeze it right there. At 5'11", he doesn't have downhill plane. So when he lets go of that ball, the ball stays flat and it's easier to make some contact with. Does that make sense, Ryan?
Sure.
Yeah. So even though you don't have the size, he's going to have to make some correcting in his in the rotation of his hips, his delivery. Maybe when Monty comes in here, we can pick Monty's brain about some of the things that maybe he did, because Monty wasn't a real tall guy either.
Ideally, when the draft rolls around, the guys that they're really looking for are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", and taller because of that. I mean, even if they throw the ball straight, just because of physics, the ball is going to have a downward plane to it. If you're getting it in the strike zone.
Yep, you're exactly right.
Well, it was yesterday when Dyson was on and he ran, and Escobar on a run and hit play turned it into a hit and run play. And after the game, Ned Yost talked about why that's a good combination.
When I put on a sign, it's a hit and run play. Okay, that's where the runner's taking off and the hitter's swinging at anything that he throws up there. The run and hit normally happens with Escobar because anytime anybody runs, he's hitting.
Dyson was running, but timeout had been called. So Dyson thought he had his 30th stolen base. Lance Barksdale. I didn't see if he pointed at Zunino or Escobar as to who called time. It was Escobar.
Okay, but that's a little late to call time. Home plate umpire Lance Barksdale does not have to grant him time. You use your discretion. If the pitcher's in his windup, why do you want to call time and risk injuring the pitcher? Let the play continue. And I've had umpires, I've called time before too, and they would never say a word. And they would tell me after the pitch, let me know sooner next time.
The hitter requests timeout. The hitter doesn't call timeout. The umpire calls timeout. Back to Ramirez. And he gets Escobar to end the inning. The Royals hit another home run. Salvador Perez with his 10th of the year. A line drive over the wall in left field, and the Royals lead 2-0.
Se fue la bola, man. That was nice.
What a brilliant outing he had yesterday in relief of Danny Duffy. Second most strikeouts by a reliever in Royals history, 8 in 4 1/3 innings. And he ends up with the win as the Royals won 3-1. And now he can just kind of kick back in the bullpen. Talking to Donnie Joseph, who was just called up. And we have just called up Jeff Montgomery from Hy-Vee Royals Live as he preps for Boulevard Royals Live. And you had a chance to talk to Will Smith. He's kind of changed. I mean, he was a contact pitcher, big guy who didn't get a lot of strikeouts, but his stuff seems to be different this year.
Well, one thing that's very different, Ryan, is the fact that he's actually throwing the slider.
It's a fair ball, and Almonte is tagged out by Billy Butler, and the Mariners are going to argue. Almonte thinks he got around the tag.
It looked foul from here, but we'll see what the umpires have to say. But anyway, I talked to him today about that, and he started throwing the slider in 2011, so it's really somewhat of a new pitch for him. And a lot of times, guys, you see, when pitchers go into the bullpen, they don't have the opportunity to display all those pitches. They don't have a chance to throw all those pitches. But we, had a chance to see Will Smith, go to the bullpen this year. His fastball's got better velocity. He still throws a good curveball, but that slider, as we saw yesterday, was really a good slider. And I think the fact that he's just throwing it, he's comfortable with it. And I talked to him about kind of who showed it to him. And he started talking to guys on his minor league team in 2011 about it. Bill Fisher, Royals pitching coordinator, helped him really develop the confidence to start throwing it. One thing it's hard to do is bring it to the big leagues and throw it in a game, but he's done exactly that.
Brendan Ryan, who popped up his first time to Salvador Perez, and now Billy Butler calls off Sal and makes a play in foul territory. So Billy's responsible for the first 2 outs in the 5th inning.
Let the sure man have it, guys.
That's right. Billy enjoying the other half of the game, playing defense. That's what you do. First baseman, call the catcher off. You got a better angle to it. Look at him. He's proud of himself.
They always call the pitchers off. Why not call the catchers off, right?
That's right.
And now ball 1-2, Brad Miller, who is 0 for 2.
But, Monty, if Will Smith can bottle that up, he's going to be around here a long time.
He really feels good about that slider. He's just really glad that he had the opportunity to start using it.
Good talk, Monty. 5 pitches. Bruce gets through the Mariners in the 5th. Monty's going to stick around. Royals lead 2-0. What a great night to be outside. Kauffman Stadium is packed with baseball fans, and pretty soon Arrowhead will be the same with football fans. Chiefs at Jacksonville this Sunday. Looks like maybe they're going through some sort of a preseason exercise there, maybe with the staff getting ready for the first game, although they played an exhibition game at Arrowhead already this year. Ryan Lefevre, Jeff Montgomery, Rex Hudler, and we were talking last inning about Will Smith and his slider as Alex hits it into center field, and Almonte brings it down. Alex 1 for 3. He homered on the first pitch thrown by Ramirez back in the first inning, so 1 down in the 5th. Hud also brought up an inning ago, we were talking about Ramirez, who is 5'11", so not very tall, and the challenges he has in getting the ball down.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you're not very tall, you're challenged because you're fighting the those physical odds, but also you have to find a way to get the arm up on top, and that's one of the things here with Ramirez. He doesn't really seem to get his arm in a real good angle to be pitching downhill. You see great lateral movement, and that's great to have life and have movement, but for a pitcher, you're better off having movement that's really kind of north and south or up and down as opposed to east and west or right or left.
So is there a mechanical adjustment that he'll use, or will his pitching coach Carl Willis work with him on creating different angles? How do you overcome that?
Well, he's blessed with a nice lively arm, so he's got that to start with. But the next thing you'll do is try to start to get that arm angle up just a little bit so that you can get that kind of downhill life. You can see that ball almost appears as though it rises at times. Now, if you're Greg Holland and you're that size and you got 99 and you throw that slider ball with it, then you can do that. But for a guy who's going to really rely a lot, you want to be able to get that arm angle up just a hair more.
Up the middle and under the glove of Miller. Oh, Bonifacio is 1 for 2. He came on for Getz very early in the game. 1 on, 1 out.
And that's another pitch there that was flat.
Yeah, and again, when the ball's flat, it's on exactly the same plane as the bat. And you talked earlier, Ryan, about the bat staying in the strike zone or in that hitting zone longer. The ball does the same thing. So if you have the bat and the ball in the same plane for a long time, a lot of bad things happen to pitchers.
Well, fans are excited for Bonifacio to get on because they know he's going.
And Hosmer was the hitter we were talking about as far as keeping his bat in the zone for a long time.
Yeah, and that's the thing about when that ball is moving laterally, as you can see here, you're going to see it just really kind of stays right in the middle part of that strike zone instead of really dipping down below the strike zone, which is a pitcher. That's what you want. You're going to get a lot of ground balls.
A delayed steal by Bonifacio. We've seen him do that a couple of times. That is his 24th stolen base altogether, but with the Royals, he is 12 out of 12.
Okay, Mike Zunino, he's a rookie catcher. I don't know how many times he's ever had to try to throw out a guy. Watch Bonifacio. 1, 2, 3. 3 little crow hops. The catcher was surprised, came up, couldn't make a good throw.
Yeah, that's a great weapon.
Oh, it's tremendous. Even though you have the really good takeoff speed to steal a base anyway, when you throw that little delay in there, it messes up the infielder. Zunino, he wasn't even ready because there was no break on the pitch.
He literally did steal that base off the catcher.
Yep. When there's no first reaction takeoff at first, they don't think he's running.
That's one of the things
there with the backhand.
One of the things coming up in the minor leagues in the Reds organization, pitchers aren't very fast, and they want to try to find ways to do it. They would always teach pitchers how to do the delayed steal because that's the only way a pitcher really would have a chance to steal a base was on a delayed steal.
Don't see that very often. You don't call a delayed steal very often, but when it's executed perfectly like Bonifacio did, you wonder why you don't see it more often.
He's 3 for 3 in those this year.
3 and 2 on Hosmer as he comes back from 1 ball, 2 strikes. Eric has singled and walked. He has hit in 7 straight.
Bonifacio 12 for 12 in bags. Ryan's having to give up some ground. It's short.
And a walk after falling behind 1 and 2. That's 3 given up by Ramirez.
I think Hosmer wants to hit 300 this year. He knows that a walk and a knock in a game is going to get in there, but he's got a knock and 2 walks. It's even better.
Great on base percentage.
Yep. And he's close.
It's a hard thing to explain Hosmer has been drawing more walks because he's hitting better. You know, there are very few, very, very few bad hitters who walk a lot.
You guys probably heard me talk about this before, but a walk for a pitcher, it's demoralizing. I mean, it really brings you down. It's more than just a guy on base. It's something you've just given in. You've not done your job to give your defense a chance to get an out for you. And I think it has more of an effect than people realize. That's why the walk is obviously, I think, a very important stat.
Well, and that leadoff walk, and I've said this before, I hear it in my sleep sometimes. Denny Matthews has said so many times on the radio, leadoff walk, late innings, close ball game. But you never talk about a leadoff hit. I mean, as you say, there's something more demoralizing about the walk as opposed to a leadoff hit. Billy through the left side for a base hit. Bonifacio around third, and he will score. Throw back to second base. Hosmer's back in time. So Billy Butler drives in his 70th of the year, and the Royals have a 3-0 lead.
Tell you what, Billy got brushed back to pitch before, and he said, you know what, I don't appreciate that. You almost picked out a thigh. That would have hurt. So I'm going to get the next good hard one I see. And he did. Carl Willis coming out. Okay, watch this. I like Bonifacio, the way he hit third base here with his foot. Watch this. I mean, perfect turn. His foot was already turned towards home. He didn't have to take a big round turn. He cut that corner, sliced it like a nice piece of pie right there. Beautiful. No chance you're going to get him.
We've seen 2 base hits on ground balls, and Billy's base hit there, and Bonifacio's base hit up the middle. But those are not ground balls. Those are balls that are hit well. They're nearly line drives, and that's the difference in getting the ground ball that you're going to get a 27 hopper to second baseman as opposed to those ground balls that are base hits.
And now a chance for Moustakas to make it an even bigger inning. He is popped to third and flied to right. Sometimes a pitching coach will go to the mound, won't really say much, just kind of slow the inning down, slow the pitcher down. Sometimes a pitching coach has a message. Carl Willis had a message. I'll stop short of using lecturing, but he certainly had something in mind that he wanted Ramirez to hear. And Ramirez rewards his pitching coach with a ground ball double play. So the Royals get one as Billy Butler drives in his 70th. And at the end of 5, the Royals lead 3-0.
Joel Goldberg back at Kauffman Stadium as we see Billy Butler at first base. Let's take a look at some news and notes. The Indians struggling right now, 1-6 on their current road trip. Justin Masterson injured his oblique yesterday. They're saying they hope he misses one start, but it could be longer. Miguel Cabrera returned to the lineup after missing 3 games. He's 0 for 4 tonight. Oh, by the way, they've been playing just fine without him, as hard as that is to believe. And then, how about this, guys? AL wild card, Major League Baseball announcing today that the game will be played on October 2nd. So, if you want to dream a little bit, that would be the game that the Royals are trying to get into. But back to that oblique strain for Justin Masterson. How often have you guys, and he has been their ace, he's their James Shields, how often have you heard an oblique strain be one game?
Good point for not just a pitcher, but anybody.
Anybody. Look at anybody, but Lorenzo Cain most recently.
That's an injury, guys, that you really can't put a slight in front of. I think there's any such thing as a slight oblique strain.
I'm just glad I didn't have obliques.
Cleveland, by the way, is leading at the moment 4-0 against Baltimore. So those are a couple of teams the Royals are chasing in the wild card. Another team, the Yankees, they're down in the 8th inning. 1-2 on Franklin Gutierrez. He is 0 for 2. And it's fouled away.
Ryan, when you look at strength of schedule, and that matters in so many different ways. There's so many variables to this. And the Indians have a bit of a softer schedule than some of the rest of those teams. And you talk about Tampa and Baltimore and the Yankees in that tough American League East division. That's not exactly easy. And so, you look at how this thing plays out and who's going to be a spoiler, who's still battling. I mean, the White Sox have looked like a team that's been pretty dead a lot of the year, and they got beat up yesterday. And there you see all those teams. And Texas, Oakland, one of those is going to win the division, and probably a good chance one of them gets the wild card. But the rest on down, we haven't mentioned Tampa Bay. They are really struggling right now. The Angels took it to them last night, and they are not hitting. The Tampa Bay Rays are in a big-time rut right now.
And a base hit to left field for Gutierrez on a 1-2 pitch. So he's on for the first time.
There's a lot more pressure on teams being hunted than the hunting. Teams that are hunting to get you. And it can be a position where if you're at the top and you start losing ground, there's some panic that sets in. I was on a team in '95 that had an 11-game lead late in August, and we lost the lead +3 to the last week of the season. And it was helpless. And we were being hunted. And all of a sudden, we felt like we were being hunted. We felt panic set in. So that's why anything can happen this last month of the season. There's been a lot of different stories that are out there, too, of collapses. But it's a helpless feeling. But when you're the Kansas City Royals and you're armed with pitching, and everyone knows it, and a great defense, you're a really hot team, and teams are worried about playing you.
Who blasted to right field. And Kyle Seager makes it a 1-run game. That is his 22nd home run of the year, which is a career high for him. Driving in Franklin Gutierrez, and now it's 3-2.
Well, we wondered when we're going to see some of that power.
Yeah, he's definitely got some pop. He's been a hot hitter really all season long. He's been an accident waiting to happen here.
I don't remember the last time we saw one hit up there, Ryan. Who was that? Not Travis Hafner.
423.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where that went.
Joel and I might find that when our post-game show up in Rivals.
She might. And I think Travis Hafner hit one up there.
He did.
He did.
Grand Slam.
Last year.
And now 1-1 on Raul Ibanez, who is singled, flied to center, and he has 25 home runs. But as Hud pointed out, that power has dried up somewhat in the second half. Good pitch by Bruce Chen. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, just 205 with 1 homer coming into this game since the break. And he hasn't had a lot of success in his career either off of Bruce.
2-2.
3 for 14.
Mariners really haven't improved that much as far as runs scored, but they have really improved in the power category. They are 4th in the league in home runs. And now Ibanez, boy, he just missed that. David Lowe makes the play, 1 down in the 6th inning. As Hud mentioned, if you were with us yesterday, the Mariners, they moved the fences in left field and left center at Safeco Field. But it's not just been home runs at home. They also lead the American League in home runs on the road.
I would imagine having closer fences at home would carry over. It would give you some kind of confidence as far as your ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And pitchers obviously don't like it, but hitters just got to do a great amount for your confidence.
Mariners really tried to load up during the offseason to improve the power. They went out and acquired Raul Ibanez, Kendrys Morales, Mike Morse, who has since moved on to the Orioles. They made a trade, remember, for Justin Upton, which Justin Upton declined and then was eventually traded to the Braves, where he could play with his brother. Jason Bay, they went out and got him. He has since been released, so they really tried to muscle up. Hasn't paid off in a lot of runs, but hitting a lot more home runs.
And they also moved their fences in at Safeco Field.
That's always a big confidence boost for the hitter.
In case you didn't hear Ryan say that.
Here's our AT&T trivia question for tonight. Who was the last pitcher to win 20 or more games in a season at age 40 or older?
Oh, come on, Al. Seattle Mariners related.
Randy Johnson?
No.
Jamie Moyer?
Took him deep 3 times in my career. Good answer.
How could a guy who gave up 3 home runs to you win 20 games?
Isn't that beautiful? You got to trick him. He tried to sneak some cheese past a hungry rat. Monty, he couldn't do it.
I think Al did too.
Al did. Al tried to get us on that one. Ryan guessed it in 2 guesses, though.
Anytime there's silence from the truck after we make a guess from the trivia question, you know, they don't really root for us down there. So Bruce gives up a 2-run home run, but then he gets Ibanez, Smoke, and Zunino. Mariners back in the game. It's 3-2 to the bottom of the 6th.
Us to New York. where the Royals fans, well, you always root against the Yankees, but you also got to pull for the White Sox here. Alexei Ramirez with his first triple of the year. Plates a couple against Hiroki Kuroda as the Sox right now lead the Yankees 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Ryan?
All right, Joel. Salvador Perez, who is homered and singled, leads off. It's kind of fun this time of year to not only follow the Royals, but keep an eye on the scoreboard.
It's been a lot of fun. Everybody in town talking about it. Still a long way to go, but a lot of fun could be had.
That's the good part about it, what you just said. It's still a long way to go. Even though you might think, what? What's he saying? 20, how many games left?
24 after today.
24. They got a little time. But they can't let their guard down. They can't afford another lapse.
3-1 on Sal.
Coming in, I talked to their pitching coach over there, Carl Willis, several of their broadcasters, and I talked about Ramirez saying he's got a fastball, curve, and a change. I'm seeing a slider now up here. Monty.
Yeah, I haven't seen as many changeups on it. He does cut that fastball and almost like a slider effect.
Yeah, so it's the cutter then.
Mm-hmm.
And with that arm angle, Monty, that's the changeup can be a very dangerous pitch, right? Because that pitch really has a chance to flatten out.
Right. You want the changeup to bottom out, to really the bottom fall out of it and go almost straight down. A good one, you don't want to go sideways. But, that's one advantage. If you're going to be down on the side a little bit, you can get a lot more life the other way on your fastball, and you can cut it, and you'll get more almost like a frisbee effect.
As you're talking about a shorter pitcher getting on top of the ball, no better example than our own Tim Collins. I mean, he's got a little bit of a funky delivery to give him some deception, but when that ball comes out of his hand, I mean, it is at a straight over the top angle.
Right. Not many pitchers have the ability to go sidearm. Guys like Randy Johnson were so tall, they could go sidearm, they still get that downhill effect, but a Tim Collins, he has to be on top.
That bullpen has been so good. 1 earned run allowed in the last 26 innings over the Royals' last 10 games. The answer to our AT&T trivia question for tonight. Last pitcher with 20 or more wins, age 40 or older. Layup.
Beautiful. Thanks for coming now. All week, Ryan. We're going to get him all week.
I think you're in his head. You talk so much about confidence. I think we got a trivia guy working without confidence right now. And making mistakes. I mean, he's playing right into our strengths.
But they are clever, but it's nice to have you aboard. Fizz, when he works with me, he's not really concentrating on answering the question like we do. But I think it's fun, and our fans, they get to sit out there and answer too. The interaction this year on our sprint questions and all that from the fans has been fun, Monty.
It's great. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
2-2 on low.
Including the people at home.
But for Al to give us a trivia question with Jamie Moore, and you've been going deep on him 3 times, that was almost a layup, like Ryan said.
Not to bury Al or anything. Left center field. And again, the slice working against the Royals as Lowe hit it hard, but it's sliced right into Chavez. 2 down. And now Ramirez will try and figure out how to get Gerard Dyson out. Dave Bridgman from Blue Springs, our Sonic Slam inning contestant, $800 if the Royals go deep in this inning. $25,000 for a grand slam from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Now, with Dyson up, you think that's unlikely, the home run. He does have 2 home runs this year. Both of them were legitimate, but Dyson, of course, has the chance for an inside the park home run.
A clean gapper, it's hard. But a ball that's a top spin sinking liner that a guy dives for and misses is a better chance for an inside the park.
And diving here in the corner. That ball gets caught in that trough in between the padding and the ground. It'll just run away from the outfielder. Just foul. 1-2.
Guys, when we did AstroTurf here at Kauffman Stadium, then Royal Stadium, a lot of balls down the lines in that turf, and it was like a tartan surface. If it got past the outfielder either way, it would roll almost to the gap in either right center field or left center field. So guys like Willie Wilson and Bo Jackson, when one would get by, I remember Jose Canseco out there a number of times. He would butcher balls in the corner. It was a stand-up home run inside the park.
Wow. It's like a hockey rink, a puck going around.
Yeah.
I think, Monty, I remember you telling me a story or stories about how many times you'd see an outfielder disappear into the corner to get the ball and then come back out of the corner chasing the ball along the base of the wall.
When you see their numbers on their back, they're in trouble.
He went around. Kerwin Danley rings him up. Third strikeout for Ramirez. And that's just his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Royals have a 3-2 lead as we head to the seventh. Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. By Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. And by ATT Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. Nice shot of Union Station. And a nice shot of Kelvin Herrera as he takes over for Bruce Chen as we go to the seventh inning.
You're going to love to take your boys there to Union Station. That's a fun place. You got a lot of action.
Chevy called to the bullpen after Bruce goes 6 and gives up 2 runs, both coming on a Kyle Seager home run, and then retired the final 3 that he faced. Herrera will get the lower third of the order.
And Kelvin Herrera coming in exact opposite of Bruce Chen, right-hander versus left-hander, flamethrower versus the finesse guy. It's got to be tough for hitters.
Rather face a hard thrower than a guy like Bruce, because it eliminates the guessing. Now you would want to get that 98 early in the count, especially if you faced him before and you saw that changeup. You're swinging early. Because the changeup, if you get 2 strikes on you, you're not hitting it if he locates it properly.
Bunting foul, 1-2. Royals are on a great run lately. I mean, they've had a great year in the bullpen all season long. Royals have a very good chance of not only breaking the team record for ERA as a bullpen, but shattering it. 1981, the bullpen's ERA was 2.8, and right now, Royals bullpen is 2.51. Herrera just blows away Chavez 100 miles an hour, one down in the 7th inning. And they have been unhittable over the last 10 games. Here's the division. And the closest to the Royals would be the White Sox, and their ERA is almost 3 points higher than the Royals over the last 10 games.
And those numbers, I mean, literally incredible numbers. And it's a decent sample size, too, to go 10 games. We know the starting pitcher's done a great job the last 7 or 8 games. Only 1 run allowed, but the bullpen's come in and followed up. We saw Will Smith yesterday, and just fabulous job from the bullpen.
And as the Royals continue to chase the Tigers, I know most people talk more about the wild card because there are fewer games to make up than in the division, but even in those 10 games, I mean, that's been the Achilles heel of the Tigers all season long, their bullpen. Almonte and Bonifacio, how about that? He scoops it and then he runs it down before it goes into the dugout.
Well, he knew it was coming. We saw Almonte the pitch before try to do that, and he got the pitch he wanted here. And we don't see too many guys try to bunt that hard 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and he was successful.
Heads up play there by Bonifacio by following up his own little toss.
I mean, it was. He had an idea it was coming. But the kid runs well, this young man here. They like him. They like his future.
And now Eric Wedge is going to go to his bench. And here's Kendrys Morales, who was going to get the night off. So those are his numbers. Not bad. 276, 17 home runs, 69 RBIs, 335 on base percentage. But he is 6 for his last 45.
But he's 2 for 2 as a pinch hitter with the 1 dinger. 4 ribbies. He's dangerous. Keep an eye on him. Don't elevate. He's been free swinging the second half of the season. They can't understand why. I was talking to the hitting coach today. He says he's one of our best hitters, but man, we can't get him to have any plate discipline. But as a pinch hitter, throw all that out. He's dangerous. He's looking for something, and he's looking to leave the K here.
Outside, 2-0.
Switch hitter. Right-handed, he's hitting 274. Left-handed, 278. More homers from the left side of the plate because he's facing more righties. Good pitch.
Monty, this might be stretching things, but did you factor anything into whether you were facing a guy who'd been in all game as opposed to a guy that was coming off the bench?
Normally not, Ryan. I tried to go with what I felt was my best pitch, regardless of the hitter, regardless of the, what I just felt like I had a good pitch working that night. That's what I'm going to go to.
So if you let the hitter get into your head, you were in big trouble.
Well, we have these meetings and talk about the hitter's strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes they'd say this guy's a really good breaking ball hitter. Stay with the fastball. But I'm not a very good fastball pitcher. I got to throw my breaking ball, so it's really going to be my strength versus his strength.
Runner goes, and there's a base hit into right field, and Almonte rounds second and heads to third. So Morales comes through as a pinch hitter.
Again.
And the Mariners have the tying run at third with 1 out.
Wow. It's been good off the bench. National League team will be looking for him. He's 3 for 3 now as a pinch hitter.
And now the Mariners will run for him.
Textbook.
And Ned Yost will make a pitching change. Brad Miller, left-hand batter, coming up. Left-hand pitcher Tim Collins coming in. Well, fans, you've known for years that StubHub is a great place to find the seats you want to see the Royals in person. And now they've added StubHub fan rewards. You can earn a little extra with your tickets, like seat upgrades. So head to StubHub and get your Royals tickets today. Nick Franklin running for Kendrys Morales. Morales' single sent Abraham Almonte over to third. And now Tim Collins getting ready to pitch to Brad Miller, who was 0 for 3 against Bruce Chen.
Yeah, Tim Collins here, 20 holds on the year. I'd love to get another one here tonight.
Didn't mean to do it, but the Mariners are going to tie the game. So not hit hard enough for a double play. Almonte comes down from third, and Miller with kind of a half swing drives in his 28th run, and we are tied at 3.
Good breaking ball, but I think Miller was just looking to do that. He said, you know what? If I just put an easy swing here, they're not going to double me up. Get the run home.
So that run is charged to Herrera, and he's still responsible for Franklin at second base as Collins pitches to Gutierrez. Outside for ball one. Gutierrez singled and scored on Seager's home run last inning. The Royals were just rolling along tonight. They got a run in the first, a run in the fourth, a run in the fifth. For a 3-0 lead, Bruce Chen opened his outing with 5 scoreless innings, and then Gutierrez seemed to hit a harmless single to begin the 6th inning, and then Kyle Seager hit a 2-run home run. And now the Mariners have tied it in the 7th.
Right-handers versus Collins, 295, no homers. Lefties, 186 average, 2 homers.
Two and one.
Sure, Tim Collins is going to go right at Gutierrez. Knowing with Seager on deck, he's got a tough guy on deck. You got to go with this batter. You got an open base, but you still want to get this batter.
And the guy on deck has already hit a home run off of a lefty tonight. Talking about Kyle Seager. Went with a changeup. So Gutierrez was thinking like Monty was. Collins was going to come after him and put a fastball swing on a changeup. Back with a changeup. Collins gets a huge out. Mariners tie the game on Brad Miller's ground ball. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals 3, Mariners 3. Here's tonight's Vatterhead College game summary, and it was all Royals for the first 5 innings. Alex Gordon on the first pitch thrown by Erasmo Ramirez homered. Salvador Perez homered. Billy Butler drove in a run. And Kyle Seager hit a 2-run home run in the 6th to make it 3-2. Mariners tied it in the 7th. Brad Miller moves from second base to shortstop. And Nick Franklin, who ran for Morales in the 7th inning, will go in at second base. 1-0 on Alcides Escobar as Erasmo Ramirez pitches into the 7th inning. 1-1 on Escobar. He is lined to right and grounded back to the mound.
Hey, Ramirez, you know, he's done a nice job. He's been able to stay in this game, keeping the balls inside part of the plate. That first inning, his ball looked really straight. I thought he was going to be in trouble, but he's rebounded. It's a pretty good movement on there. Notice just he's bringing in a little cutter, a little slider to go with his curve and change. Not a lot of change-ups.
Pulled on the ground to Miller, who is now at short, 1 away. So with Escobar batting, a right-hand hitter, Eric Wedge, was going to leave Ramirez in there to face him. And now Gordon, Bonifacio, who's a switch hitter, and Hosmer. 2 left-hand batters and a switch hitter coming up. And Eric Wedge is going to get the ball from his right-hander. Charlie Furbush takes over in the 7th. Seventh inning. MLB.com At Bat is celebrating 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball. The At Bat app delivers the Royals with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, breaking news, and video highlights. Keep up with the daily drama of this year's pennant races by downloading At Bat right now on your app store or text At Bat to 31826. Charlie Furbush with Alex Gordon coming up. 1 out, nobody on.
And I'll tell you what, this guy's got really good numbers. In 54 1/3, he's got 71 punch-outs. Opponent's only hitting 182 off of him. He could be filthy. Let's wait and see what he's got. Now, I can tell you on paper what he's got, but really it could be different up there. He's got an 88 to 93 mile-an-hour sinking fastball. He'll cut it, but he's got a big slurvy curve, a big curve and a changeup. Obviously, he's tricking a lot of batters.
Inside, ball 1 to Alex.
That's a lot of strikeouts.
1-1. Well, the Mariners would really like to see Furbush turn into a good pitcher. He will always be connected with a trade with the Tigers that worked a lot better for Detroit than it did for Seattle. The trade that sent Doug Fister to the Tigers 2 years ago, right at the trading deadline. And the Mariners acquired outfielder Casper Wells, an infielder named Francisco Martinez, a pitcher Chance Ruffin, and Furbush for Doug Fister.
Wow.
Crack bat. The bat breaks in half, and Miller's throw goes right over the bat and in time to smoke for out number 2.
Alex did all he could to try to guide that up the middle. Furbush trying to stop it with his hand. Luckily he didn't hit his hand because that could hurt him. Ball was by him. And just not enough to get through.
So 2 down, and now Bonifacio, who moves over to the right side. Bonifacio came on very early in the game in the 3rd inning for Chris Getz, who left with dizziness and an upset stomach. Bonifacio has flied to center, singled to center, stolen a base, and scored a run.
This kid's given up 5 home runs, Furbush. 4 to righties.
And he has an max effort, all out motion when he throws his fastball, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Like he's going to fall into the third base dugout after he delivers the pitch.
He's funky, but to have a cutter and a big curveball, slurvy curve is what they call it, it's deceptive to a righty and to a lefty. It's a couple different looks.
2-1. And just missed below the knees. 3-1 with Hosmer on deck.
This guy's only allowed 5 earned runs over his last 19 innings. Appearances. He's good, Ryan. We can get him though. He's got to make a mistake.
3-2.
They can get him. We can't, you and I. They can.
Furbush out of Louisiana State. Played the same time that Lewis Coleman pitched for LSU. Shallow center field. Almonte coming up, and he's got it. So the Royals down 1-2-3. We head to the 8th. Royals 3, Mariners 3. Is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. And by 5 Hour Energy Shots. Royals had a 3-0 lead, and Seattle with 2 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th. And now to the top of the 8th, Tim Collins, who got the final 2 outs of the 7th inning, will face Kyle Seager, who brought the Mariners back to life with his 2-run home run in the 6th inning. He hit that off of Bruce Chen. Seattle had scored just 1 run in their previous 2 games. They were shut out on Sunday in Houston, although they won that series 3-1, and then they scored just the 1 run yesterday. And now Collins comes up and in and knocks Seager out of the box. Seattle has lost 8 of its last 11, and they've hit just 209 over that stretch. So this is a big game for them. 3 runs, 8 hits. Seager, Ibanez, and Smoke coming up in the 8th inning.
He doesn't have any problem with lefties either. He hit his 10th home run against a southpaw tonight, Seager, earlier against Bruce, out of his 21. So he hits them off lefties and righties. You can see very strong lower half. You generate a lot of power from your hips. Let's see him again. Ooh, that's on the inner half. See, he's got a little toe tap technique to get himself loaded. Strong.
He was a clutch hitter last year for the Mariners. He had 86 RBIs, and with the advanced numbers, there are also what they call high leverage RBIs, meaning RBIs that affect the outcome of the game. And 52% of his RBIs last year were so-called high leverage RBIs. That was the best in the major leagues.
Wow.
So when the game was on the line and the Mariners needed him, he was there.
And the way they talk about him playing defense at third base, this guy, he's got a chance to really be a stud in this game.
You know, there's some guys who put up numbers like 85, 90 RBIs. In the end of the year, you think, I can't think of one big hit he got all year. How'd he get 85 RBIs? And then there are guys like Seager who have 86 like he did last year, and it seems like he had more. Collins makes a good pitch on him, so he's out on a fly ball to left. 1 down in the 8th. All right, our Sprint Unlimited Answers poll for tonight, the biggest key to the Royals' second half run. HUD's suggestion came in second. Fans will go with starting pitching, 37%.
And what about these two? Where would they be without that? And so they all 4 could work. Hard to disagree with starting pitching. That's the bread and butter.
Curveball for a strike to Raul Ibanez.
How do you like Barksdale's strike call? I like it,
Yeah.
but you can hear it.
And see it.
Yeah.
Off the plate. And the ball took a funky hop on Billy Butler with some side spin. And Ibanez, at 41 years old, gets an infield single. And he almost ran all the way into the right field corner before he slowed down. And now Eric Wedge is going to send out a pinch runner.
Chopper. Collins kind of slipped and then hesitated to get to the bag. Obviously, they're not real familiar playing with Billy Butler at first base. You could see Collins. He wasn't sure whether to go get it or to hesitate or what to do. That's a play that not much you can do.
So it's Michael Saunders running for Ibanez at first base. I thought that was great. Raul ran through the bag. He almost ran all the way into the corner.
He wanted to show his speed off.
Saunders, we were talking about him last night. The Mariners have almost no running game. They have the second fewest stolen bases in the league, but Saunders is a threat. He has that very unorthodox leadoff at first. And I think, Hud, whether he's going or not, it would catch the pitcher's attention to see a guy that, I mean, he looks like a sprinter in the blocks, doesn't he?
He does. But if you're a left-hander, you're looking at him with both eyes. You're not a righty looking out of your peripheral vision at him. So you can see him. You can see him. He's kind of digging a little hole, but he's already open. And guys that start open like that, they don't have to worry about the crossover as much. He's just going to take a step with his right foot, a small turn, and go.
Grounded off of Moustakas' glove, who may have gone into a dive too soon. And going to third is Saunders, and Justin Smoke, a 160 hitter as a right-hand batter this year, ends up with a double.
Okay, this ball wasn't really powdered. It was hit off the end, so really I think he hit Moose changeup. Had a hard time judging that hop there. Almost knocked it down. That's what he wanted to do. It's going to be hard to make a play like that, but he tried to knock it down, couldn't. Got off his glove. Now they're going to have to rely on some nifty pitching here to get out of this jam.
Second and third, one out. Luke Hochevar on to face Mike Zunino. Royals, Fox Sports, and the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. And for more information, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. So Seattle has come back after being down 3-0, and now second and third, one out. Luke Hochevar to face Mike Zunino, and he takes a cutter down and away, ball one. Hochevar's ERA this year is 1.83, which is great. But doesn't it seem like in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks he's taken his game to another level?
He has, and this might be the highest leverage situation he's been in. They need him here. They need some strikeouts. Infield's in. First half, he was just kind of feeling his way as a reliever. Second half, he goes, okay, I think it's my turn. I'm going to be in this bullpen. I'm going to help us get to the postseason. That's his mentality. And he's doing it with just 3 pitches mainly. Hard mid-90s fastball, a little cutter, and a curveball occasionally.
Royals have the infield in with Saunders at third. How about that pitch? 96 with teeth.
Good word there, teeth. That hard, a hard bite. That's a term in baseball guys use. Ooh, hard biting right-hander. The opponent's only hitting 167 off of him.
Oh boy, got to give Zunino some credit there. I'd say about 75 to 85% of hitters are going to swing at that pitch. I mean, that was a perfect location after a pitch down and in, but Zunino didn't pull the trigger.
That's what it was designed for.
Struck him out, so he went back to the pitch that was biting in on Zunino. 2 down.
Boy, that is a hard sinking 96. Maybe you could call that running. Zunino will get back to the dugout and they'll say, what was that? He'll say that was a hard running fastball.
76% of the runners Hochevar has inherited. He is stranded. And now Andy Chavez, right center field. David Lowe, Gerard Dyson. Dyson makes the play. And Hochevar gets the job done.
Way to go, Papa Hoch.
Luke Hochevar with runners at second and third and 1 out gets a strikeout and a flyout to get the Royals out of the 8th inning. Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. Eric Hosmer, Billy Butler, Mike Moustakas. Royals have not scored since the 5th inning when they took a 3-0 lead. It looked like they were going to cruise tonight. Bruce Chen pitched 5 scoreless innings to begin, and then Seattle scored 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th.
And you know, he's sitting at 299 right now. One big hit can put him over 300, and he has the highest batting average against lefties on the team, Eric Hosmer. 326, 5 home runs out of his 15.
That's a called strike, 92, and he's had a knack for coming up big in the 7th inning or later. You can add 65 points to his batting average once we get into this part of the game. 6 of his 15 home runs have come in the 7th inning or later. Ooh, he had a good swing.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Now that 2-0 pitch, previous pitch before that one, was a perfect 2-0 pitch to a power hitter like him. It was down, over the middle, but down, and Hosmer said it's too low. So it's a perfect pitch for him. Now he's even to count. Great matchup here. A left-handed pitcher that's on top of his game right now, and so is Hosmer.
He did not go. And you could hear the conflicting shouts. Mariners dugout saying, yes, he did, and the Royals dugout saying, no, he didn't.
So what's he going to throw here? I couldn't tell you. He's got command with everything.
Let's see if we can see what Zunino puts down for a sign. Fastball away.
Right where he likes it.
Ball 4. That's his 3rd walk. And the go-ahead run is on with nobody out.
I've never seen Eric Hosmer locked in like he is right now. I don't know how many 3-walk games he's had this year. I would bet on none. But when you're going good, you made a comment earlier in his last at-bat. When you're going good, you're selective. When you're not going good, you're more aggressive because you want to hit your way out of it.
Yorvis Medina comes on to pitch to face Billy Butler.
Eric Hosmer with his second 3-walk game of the season, the other coming on the last road trip in Detroit, and that is the 2nd of the season and 2nd of his career. And it's been a good stretch since that Detroit game, guys. Last 17 games, 20 for 62, and he has 13 walks in that stretch.
Way to research for us, Joel. Because I tell you, you get 3 walks in a game, you're locked in. And those are borderline pitches in a crucial situation. Thank you, Joel.
Yorvis Medina with Hosmer at first, nobody out, and he'll get Billy Butler.
He's got a good fastball, mid-90s, and a hard curve, big curve. Split finger changeup. Gonna try to get ahead of him with a fastball. Okay, now he's going to take a little bit of caution with Hosmer over there. And there's nobody out. Billy has hit into his share of double plays this year. So Ned might try to pick a pitch to let Hosmer go. Or he may just leave him there. Might give Billy a good fastball to hit.
2-0.
Sometimes just the fact that you're there and they know you can run is good enough. Give him a fastball.
What do you think?
I'm going to give him a green light if he likes it. That's Billy Butler. It's got to be his.
He hasn't thrown anything close to being a strike.
That's why he probably won't. Make him do it twice.
There you go. Now he has a look at what a strike looks like.
Medina's firm.
Boy, his pitch has good movement on it, doesn't it?
That one did.
Even the first couple of pitches in this at bat here that he missed with, diving down and away on Billy. That one diving down and in.
If that ball didn't dive, it would have dove over the left field fence.
Taking a dive in the fountains.
It did, but that late break like that, that's all it takes to make a hit or miss.
Hosmer runs, and Billy pulls it foul. Billy is grounded into a double play tonight, 22 on the year, and Ned Yost wants to avoid that.
Right. The impressive thing about Hosmer's 3 walks too, Ryan, is he's the DH for the first time tonight. When you're a DH, you want to hit.
Running again, and Billy hits a ground ball to third. They'll still go to second base. They got the out. At least that's the call from second base umpire Angel Hernandez. So a gutsy play by Seager.
Sure was. And you make a play like that in the 8th inning of a tie ball game. You take a chance, and he did. Got the call. Now, the replay might show him safe. I don't know, but took a chance there. Thought he was safe.
Boy, how about that throw?
Just missed Hosmer's head.
Oh, good call.
Got him. Great angle.
And then look at it, the throw around Hosmer and a strike. And now Moustakas pulls it foul. Moustakas was inches away from hitting with 2 on and nobody out, and now bats with 2 outs and nobody on.
Okay, watch the angle here, how he throws it right by his nose.
That's impressive.
Sure was.
One and one on Moustakas. He grounded into a double play in the 5th inning. The Mariners have turned 3 double plays. That's big for them. This one was the biggest. Billy has grounded into 2, and Moustakas into a double play in the 5th inning.
Okay, Moose can let Medina supply the power. He just wants to be short to the ball.
Center field sinking, and Almonte into a dive. He blocked it, and now Moustakas is heading for second base, and he has a double. So how big is that double play now?
Sure is. I mean, Ned might be looking for a pinch runner too. Moose, good job to get into second base. Didn't see any limp, a noticeable limp either. Obviously his calf's getting a little bit better. So he was short to the ball. Hit it off the end of the bat, but it's just in front of the center fielder. Almonte, at least he got a piece of that ball and kept it from going any further. I didn't detect the limp, did you? It's good.
So Moustakas with his 21st double, and now Salvador Perez, one of the Royals' best with runners in scoring position. And a slider from Medina. Sal has singled. He has homered, his 10th of the year, and he's grounded out to short.
His numbers are nice.
Lays off the slider, 1-1.
Salvi, he'll hit that ball wherever it's pitched.
And again, the slider, 3 straight. 1 for a strike, and the last 2 trying to get him to chase. Yoervis Medina, out of the Mariners system. They brought him along very slowly. He spent 4 years in their academy in Venezuela before pitching in the United States. And another slider, so 4 in a row. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Signed back in 2006. 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009 in their academy. Line, base hit left field. Here's Moustakas around third. Andy Chavez to the plate, and the Royals take the lead in the 8th inning.
Salvador Perez, never facing Medina before, picked on another slider. You go to the well too often, you get burned. Left it out over. Moose running well. Good to see that. What a great head first slide.
So Moustakas and Perez come up big. Royals got that leadoff walk to Hosmer, and Billy Butler at the plate ahead in the count, but Medina got a double play, so right away 2 outs, nobody on. Moustakas doubles, Perez gets him home.
And the fact that Ned Yost stayed with Moose, didn't pinch run for him, obviously Ned saw the way Moose was running. He said, you know what, I'm going to keep him in there. Looks like he's running well.
David Lowe going for it all. 1 ball, 1 strike. 0 for 3 so far. He lined out to left his last time up.
After Moose legged that double out, I looked down in that dugout. I saw Ned. He was jumping around, looking in there. He said, "Oh, wait on a pinch runner." He was thinking. His wheels were turning.
And now he doesn't lose any defense in the 9th inning.
So sometimes you take a risk, you take a gamble, and Moose made it pay off.
And now 3-1 with the ball getting away from Zunino.
A tough one for Zunino to get to it here. But, you know, with David Lowe up and 2 outs, well, it's almost money.
2/3 of his RBIs have come with 2 outs. 20 of his 30. Taking a strike, 3-2. Slider strikes him out. That ends the inning. The Royals get a run in the bottom of the 8th. Salvador Perez coming through again with a runner in scoring position.
Salvi knows when the game's on the line to come through.
Greg Holland, and working on one of the best runs in Royals history, 30 consecutive saves. So he is 6 away from the team record. Joakim Soria, 36 in 2010. And look at tonight's Toyota League leaders. 30-plus saves, best ERAs. And only Craig Kimbrell, the great closer from the Braves, whose ERA is under 1, is better than Greg Holland. So Holland has the best ERA in the American League in that category, better than Joe Nathan, better than Mariano Rivera.
Yep, without looking at the numbers, you could just pretty much tell him that.
Carlos Pena takes over at first base. And yeah, that's the same Carlos Pena we've been seeing over the years. He was released by the Houston Astros and signed to a minor league contract with the Royals, and he went to AAA Omaha, helped the Royals win the division. And that's how Ned Yost can DH Eric Hosmer and start Billy Butler at first base, because he knows he has the defense of Carlos Pena on the bench.
That's right.
And doesn't have to bring in Hosmer and lose the DH.
Right. It's another way to help Ned and his Royals continue their fight.
1-2 on Almonte. It's been a very unique September for the Royals. And because they're contending, I mean, we're used to this time of year players who have maybe been up before, but for the most part, young guys who just are getting a taste of the big leagues. Not this year. I mean, these are guys who have been there, done that. Strike 3 call.
Ooh, man. Abraham Almonte, he just got to see a big league closer at his best. And he's wondering, how the heck had that been a strike? Holland with mid-90s stuff with his fastball and a slider. Split finger slider combination.
97 with his fastball, 87 with the slider. Get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Nick Franklin hits for the first time.
You know, the thing I like about Holland is he has postseason on his mind. He has all year long. I've heard him in more than one interview say, you know what, really, it's all about the postseason.
No chance. 98.
These Royals fans are experiencing one of the best bullpens I'm sure they've ever had.
Well, if you want to go strictly by ERA, and the Royals bullpen did allow a run tonight. I mean, that's breaking news, because before tonight, the bullpen had allowed 1 earned run in the last 26 innings. But the bullpen has a chance to shatter the team record for ERA. Fouled away. Still 1-2. Mentioned it earlier, back in 1981, the Royals bullpen had a 2.8 ERA. And coming into tonight, the Royals ERA is 29 points better than that. Two and two.
Boy, I'll tell you, Salvador Perez, he picked that ball and moved his big body like nothing to it. And there's not even a runner on base. He's very special. He deserves a lot of the credit for the pitching staff's ERAs.
Got him. That completes the strikeout, 2 down.
Tell you what, it's exciting stuff. But Salvador Perez, he turned that ball into a marshmallow right there. There are a lot of catchers to be scrambling. Watch how he turns this into a marshmallow. With good, soft hands. He comes up on it just like an infielder would, keeps it in front of him. Textbook block in a crucial time of the game.
Royals had a 3-0 lead at the end of 5, and Seattle scored 2 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th. 0-1 on Miller. And there have been some important innings tonight for the Royals pitching staff. Mariners had runners at first and third and nobody out against Bruce Chen in the 2nd, and they did not score. They had 2nd and 3rd and 1 out in the 8th and did not score. And here in the 9th, Greg Holland takes care of the inning all by himself. 2 strikeouts, and he handles a pop-up. And the Royals with a run in the bottom of the 8th inning win tonight 4-3, and they've now won 8 of their last 10 games.
What a baseball game here at the K. Tremendous output from everyone. Great energy, clutch hit by that man right there to pick up that go-ahead run and the winning RBI. Moose with a big double. Boy, Bruce, let's not forget about Bruce Chen. Nice outing. Last out, tried to get a bunt, anything he could, popped it up.